Today we continue with our classes Laws of Shabbos. Today's class number 71. We start with Sefer Shmiras HaLashon. We're on page 205. And it says, if one finds that oneself embroiled in a feud, he dares not rest until he has fully eradicated himself from it. Okay. One must strive with every ounce of resolve to remove himself from the strife, no matter how difficult it may be. This may be. So of course, the way I see it, right? Both sides are going to try to pursue you. Yeah, no, you have to stand up for the truth and stuff like that. But most of the time, there is a fight about ego. Continue, right? So, Chafetz Chaim say you have to remove yourself from this feud. The Torah relates that initially On Ben Pelas was among the leaders of Korach's camp in his rebellion against Moshe. Yet he managed to separate himself from Korach's group, and thus was not punished when their time came. I think his wife saved him. Okay, I mean, he was not sure, he didn't want to, but she actually saved him, the way I understand the story. Right? Do not be convinced by evil inclinations, arguments, and incitements. That, for example, it is below one's dignity not to follow through in dispute until the victory is achieved. Right, so we have to go till the end. Okay, not always. Better to experience embarrassment in this world than be shamed in the world above, in the presence of the entire heavenly assembly. So let them think that you're, I don't know, the weak character and stuff like that. You just back off, and to be in a bad side in the world to come. I also just state better than that a person be called fool in this life, all his life, right? One more time, better the person to be called fool all his life than to be considered a wicked person, even for a moment before the omnipresent. Mishnah Idios 5:6. Okay, so that's good advice. Stay away. Okay, so we continue with the practical applications. We're on page 459. And we continue with Melachet demolition. It's a part 7 practical application of Melachet demolition. A. Structures. Number 1, removing the window screen from the window. It is forbidden to remove the window screen from the window on Shabbos, since the screen is not made to be removed. It is regarded as a part of the building. Therefore, removing it violates the Melach of demolition. So that's very clear. I mean, of course, when you need to wash it and stuff like that, you would remove it. But it's like, I don't know, maybe once a year, 2 times a year. That's it. Okay. So continue. B, removing broken glass from the window frame. The shards of the glass that remain in the window frame after the window was broken are regarded as a part of the building. Therefore, it is forbidden to remove them on Shabbos. Also, I mean, straightforward. Well, everything that is attached, you cannot remove because you're breaking the structure. Number 3, removing a door. It is forbidden to remove the door of the building from its hinges. This is forbidden even if it can be detached without resorting to unscrewing. Okay, so I mean that today I don't think most of the doors it's almost impossible to remove without tools because of the hinges, I think. Okay, so removing doors not allowed. Number 4, breaking down door to free a child. If child is locked in a room and cannot open the door, it is permitted to break down the door to free a child. According to Halacha, this is potentially a life-threatening situation, Therefore, one may break down the door to do anything else or do anything else necessary to free the child. So basically, as we said once, in the eyes of the child, it's like that's it. He's he's never going to see his parents, basically, right? It's so for him, for this poor child, it's a life danger. That's what it is. Okay. So number 5, removing nails or screws from a wall. On Shabbos, one is forbidden to remove object embedded in a wall or structure. For example, nails, screws, thumb tracks, and the like. Okay. These objects are considered to be part of the structure. Therefore, their removal violates the melach of demolition. So even if what is it? This nail just is like it's not holding tight, does not make any difference, so we're not allowed to remove it. Number 6, doorknobs. It is forbidden to unscrew the doorknob on Shabbos. However, if a knob was unscrewed before Shabbos, it may be removed from the door on Shabbos. Meaning, okay, provided it is relatively easy to remove. In this case, the knob is not considered to be attached to the building. Therefore, the removal does not violate the melacha of demolition. So, I mean, if you just can pull it out, so that would be like, in this case, it would be allowed. I'm not sure why somebody wouldn't do it, but it's a different story. Okay. So number 7, child safety gates. Child safety gates that fit into the tracks attached to the wall are made to be removed and replaced. Therefore, the removal is not included in melach of demolition. Accordingly, one is permitted to remove these gates from their tracks on Shabbos. So basically, that's the gate the child in this room you install, in that room child in different room you install. In different rooms, so that's I mean, people usually don't have many of these gates, maybe 2 maximum. I mean, does not make any sense to have them all over the house. Okay, so number 8, removing toilet tank lid. It is permitted to remove the lid that covers the toilet tank, provided it is type that protrudes beyond the edge of the tank. So I'm not sure what is the other. It's like the inside of the tank. Not sure what is it. What's the other type? All of this that I saw in my life, they protrude. Of course, I mean, I'm not sure what the other type. Number 9, pulling up a carpet. A carpet that is permanently installed is regarded as a part of the structure. Therefore, it may not be pulled up on Shabbos. So basically, like wall-to-wall carpet that is always there. So you cannot take it out or pull it out. Number 10, removing picture from the wall. The poskim permit person to remove the picture from the nail upon which it is hanging. So as we said before, it's since it was made for decoration. So sometimes people just change the decoration. Okay, so there is no problem. Number 11. Towel rod. Many public restrooms provide towels that are looped over the rod, which is in turn fit into the holders attached to the wall. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so one more time. So Abraham, join us. Towel rod. Many public restrooms provide towels that are looped over the rods, which in turn fit into the holders attached to the walls. These rods are meant to be removed and replaced on a regular basis. Therefore, one is permitted to remove them from the holders on Shabbos. So it's olden technology, right? Before we started using paper towels. Basically, it's like very long towel, and I'm not sure how it's being dried, but it's very long. So you you wipe your hands and then you pull, and then it is more or less dry in the next section, so another person can wipe his hands. It's still there in Muncie. If you go, I don't know, I was like, you serious? I was in they have a minion factory, right? Like here we have on Coney Island and L. No, not L, in East 8th Street. So they have I think it's Vishnitz shul, right? I think so. Very interesting. Okay, huge shul. Okay, so number 12, removing drain covers. A drain cover, but I mean, in there, it's I was down in the mincha. It's like 7 minchas is going in the same time, 7 or 8. Many, unbelievable. Number 12, removing drain covers. A drain cover that has no handle may not be removed from the drain on Shabbos. If, however, the drain cover is designed with a handle, it may be removed from the drain. The fact that it has a handle indicates that it's made to be removed and replaced. Therefore, removing it is not an act of demolition. So basically, like as we said before, I think it more applies to the bathtub. I maybe to the sink, but I have never seen those like plugs, like rubber plugs for a sink without the ring. So if it's a ring, meaning what that you can remove easily. If there is no ring, meaning that they intended to be for it to be closed. Okay. Number 13, unscrewing faucet filter. It is forbidden to unscrew the filter on the faucet on Shabbos because the faucet is attached to the structure. Removing the filter is an act of demolition. So I would say it's in a kitchen filter. I'm not sure why would they want to remove the filter. I have no idea. Maybe something wrong with the filter. I'm not sure. So basically, but anyway, it screws on the faucet, so it's not allowed to unscrew it. Okay, continue. Number B, movable utensils. Number 1, handle of a pot. It is forbidden to unscrew the handle of a pot on Shabbos. To unscrew the handle of a pot on Shabbos. I'm not sure why would he want to unscrew, but anyway, not allowed. Number 2, a broomstick. It is forbidden to unscrew the head of the broom from the broomstick on Shabbos. Okay. Number 3, a watch. One may not remove black panel of a watch. There is the change back panel. Sorry, back panel for a watch to change the battery on Shabbos. Okay, so of course it's a tight joint, so it would be like it's not allowed, even though it's small utensil. Okay, number 4, remove a door of a bookcase. It is permissible to remove a door of a small bookcase on Shabbos, provided it is not tightly attached. For example, door that hangs loosely from the prongs, or a sliding door that fits loosely in a trunk. So all of this in a small bookcase, we said there is no problem. Since it is small utensil and the door is made to be attached only loosely, the melacha of demolition does not apply. So small utensil, as we said before, it's less than 1 by 1 by 3 amos. Right? Amo is approximately 2 feet, approximately. If, however, the bookcase is attached to the wall, so sometimes they would, for example, something narrow, if you buy furniture and it's narrow and tall, so they always give you like this metal wire and a screw that you can attach to the wall, because otherwise it's going to fall flat on its face for sure. Almost guarantee, unless you attach it to the wall. So, but if you attach it to the wall, even with one screw and this tiny wire, so it's already part of the structure. So one more time, if however the bookcase is attached to the wall, it is regarded part of the structure. Therefore, even loosely fitted door may not be removed on Shabbos. Okay. So, but if it's freestanding, as we said, in a smaller utensil, there is no problem. So, in the case of a large bookcase or cabinet, it is prohibited to remove the door on Shabbos. Right, even if it is not made to be tightly attached. So because we said it's with a big utensil, the big pieces of furniture, we consider them as buildings. So it's a building inside of the other building, right? And demolishing a building whether tightly attached or loosely attached does not make any difference. Still a biblical prohibition. This is because the large utensil halachically regarded as actual structure. Okay, I said building, the actual structure. Okay, therefore one is forbidden to remove even the loosely fitted attachment. Okay, continue. Almost done. Number 5, removal shelf from a bookcase. It is permitted to remove the shelves in a small bookcase on Shabbos. This is because the bookcase is small, is a small utensil, and the shelves are made to be fit loosely. Right, that's what it is. So you can remove from small bookcase. Under these circumstances, the melacha of demolition does not apply. Here too, if the bookcase is attached to the wall, the shelves may not be removed. In the case of the large bookcase, the shelves may not be removed. So because as we said, it's like a building, so structure, they call it structure. Okay. Sorry, one more time. Large utensil, 1 by 1 by 3. Okay. So we got any questions on what we said? Demolition. Okay, no problem. So we continue. Then we start the new melacha today. Chapter 33. Extinguishing fire. Mechabeh. Okay. The Av Melacha. Mechabeh, extinguisher fire, is one of the 39 hours Melachas. As we have often explained, all hours Melachas are based on activities performed during the construction of the Mishnah. One such activity is extinguishing fire in order to produce charcoal. Charcoal burns hotter than the plain wood. It was used in the Mishkan for melting metal, which requires especially intense heat. So, I mean, very simple, very straightforward. So charcoal, that's what they use. For example, some people. I mean, until recently, at least, or maybe it's some other countries that they use to produce heat, right? To heat up the house. Right, or some buildings even. So because why? Because it produces a lot of heat. So they would make this charcoal, right? They would burn wood and then extinguish it, and that's how you produce the charcoal. Okay. So extinguishing is a positive action in order to produce charcoal. Number 2 definition. Mechabeh is defined as extinguishing or diminishing a fire. So extinguishing completely or diminishing meaning make it smaller. This can be accomplished in various ways, and as we will explain below in section 5. Okay, so we're going to get this. Yeah.
Wait, how does diminishing a fire give me charcoal?
So originally, you're right. So diminishing, I would say it would be rabbinical, I think. So because you're right, in order to make it charcoal, you need to extinguish completely. So if it's still burning, it's not going to be charcoal. It's going to burn completely. Okay, I think. So let's see. Part number 3, Torah prohibition. We're on page 464. In order to transgress the Torah prohibition, mechabeh, one must perform the act to extinguish for its own sake, as it's not only in this case, but always in order to transgress Torah prohibition for its own sake, meaning for that you're trying to achieve some like constructive purpose. This means that one's purpose in extinguishing the fire cannot simply be to rectify an undesirable condition. For example, to save one's belongings from being burned. Right? So if Chas v'Shalom a person has a fire in his house and he extinguish the fire, let's say his his table is burning. Let's say this table made of wood. So if he extinguished this table, this fire on the table, so he's not extinguished to make it charcoals, right? That's the last thing in his mind. He's trying to save his house. So it would not be Torah prohibition according to this logic. If it is one purpose, his act is deemed as melacha, not performed for its own sake. Okay, which is permitted under the biblical law. Rather, one's purpose is extinguishing the fire must be to achieve the positive benefit. For example, if one extinguishes a fire, in order to produce charcoal, his act provides positive benefit. For he has produced something new, in the only way it can be produced, through extinguishing fire. Therefore, he has violated the Torah prohibition. Okay. So that's, I think, a very good example. So when you extinguish in order to achieve a positive result, so as they say, produce charcoal, that's the only case of the Torah prohibition. Okay. Why is the Torah prohibition limited to act that provides positive benefit? It is because the activity upon which this melacha is based, namely the extinguishing, performed during the construction of Mishkan, possess this characteristic. So, biblical, when we say some like some transgression is biblical, only when it's as much as possible resemble the original melacha in the Mishkan. Since the original act of extinguishing was one that achieved the positive benefit, the av melacha that is derived from it must do so as well. So one more time, and we're going to explain. Since the original act of extinguishing was one that achieved positive benefit, right? As we said before, the av melacha is derived from it must do as well. So only melacha is, as we said before, only positive benefit. Negative benefit, as we said, he has a fire, he extinguished. It's not biblical. It's rabbinical, yes, but not biblical. So part number 4, rabbinic prohibition. A, where there is no positive benefit. Although the act of extinguishment that provide no positive benefit is deemed as melacha performed not for its own sake, and is permitted under the biblical law, it is forbidden under the rabbinical law. Accordingly, if one extinguishes a fire in order to conserve fuel, or in order to prevent his belonging from being burned, he has violated the rabbinic prohibition. Okay, so basically when somebody turns off the light in his living room or whatever, so it would be rabbinic prohibition, but it would never be Torah prohibition, because you're not trying to, I don't know, to improve this light bulb or something. Okay, number 1, decrease of severity.
Actually, since you said that, so we know that, let's say you walk past a house and the light turns on, you don't really have to worry about it, and so on and so forth, right?
No.
Okay.
But we'll continue. Okay.
Yeah. And so I wanted to know, like, some place can say that if you walk past it, it's not a problem anymore, but you have it, right? So I wanted to know like this. Doesn't the same halacha apply since I wanted no benefit from that light, since I already had a light on me already, right? I was able to see the stairs, so on and so forth. So I was thinking, in a case where it's broad daylight outside and I turn on a light by accident, okay? Shouldn't the same ruling apply? Because over there was by accident and I got no benefit. Over here too was by accident and I got no benefit. But over here I actually, did it. I actually did something myself. And let's say I even, did it intentionally. Just I didn't know it was Shabbos. I wasn't thinking. So shouldn't the same ruling apply? That some poskim would say that it was okay and there's no avera at all.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So we're talking about sensor's light. So somebody is passing by, and so of course, if you know that there is a light there, so you transgress the prohibition. Okay, it's rabbinical, I agree, but you transgress. So that's majority. Minority said, as you said, it was not his intention. So basically, there is no other way. So he's going. Let's say there is an arrow, and he's going with a baby carriage. So the only other way to avoid this light is to go on the middle of the road, right? There are passing cars, danger. Okay, so you continue walking. But if you walk by yourself and there is no problem, I mean, you can go like see right and left, and you can go like in the middle of the road, or the middle of the street, not road, like a street. Now streets not that busy. You can go around that light. That's what you must do. There is after the fact, of course, if you did not know, it's b'diavad, there is no problem. But if you go this way, like every Shabbos for a past year, and pretend that you do not know, I mean, that's it's not going to look so much in Shemayim. Understand? So I see people, they do not care. They do not care, but they care about the stake. About the stake, they do care. About the light, they don't. So that's the big issue. But about the light, so of course he does not derive benefit. But it's not about deriving benefit or not deriving benefit. About this light, this sensor light. He did the melacha. The melacha is done.
I agree with you, but according to those some poskim, right? The case seems exactly the same. I just happen to have actually done, an action of turning on the light, no? So they would say it's not enough. Okay.
No, but you see, these cases are not exactly the same. So in the first case, it was indirectly. So you did not do any like physical. There was no physical contact. So I would say it's one level removed. But here in the second case, as you described, it was actual physical contact. So it's a different level.
Understand?
Of course, as you said, he did it accidentally. There is, after the fact, there is no problem, except that he has to bring the sin offering. That's it.
But this is a Rabbanan, no?
It is rabbinical, yes.
So no carbon, right?
No problem. For rabbinical. You're right, for rabbinical. So basically, if he extinguish, if he has a fire and he extinguish some like light, a candle, for example, he would drink, yes, but you're right. Okay, so continue. So number one, degrees of severity. Generally speaking, rabbinic prohibition against extinguishing is more severe than other rabbinic prohibitions. This is because the act forbidden by rabbinic law is identical to that of forbidden of the Torah law. They differ only in the intent and purpose of the transgressor. So one more time, this is because the act forbidden by rabbinic law is identical to forbidden by the Torah law, right? They differ only in the intent and the purpose of transgressor. So basically, if he extinguished the light, right, or if he extinguished the piece of wood, right? So or candle. Of course, if he extinguished candle, just he tried to save the fuel or the candle. He wants to use candle, I don't know, for Havdalah, let's say, or he extinguished piece of wood. So the intention is different, of course. piece of wood for a charcoal, right? Consider if one extinguishes the candle so that the wick will light more easily. On another occasion, he has violated the Torah law. Since this purpose is to achieve the positive benefit with a charred wick. So I think it's a good example, and Shulchan Aruch speaks about it. Today it's not so. Today is not so because if you buy all these kosher candles, they're all treated. The wicks are all treated, meaning so they would light very, very easily. But in olden days, it was not the case. So the proper way would to light the wick, extinguish, and next time that was a husband's job, right? The husband would light the wick, extinguish, and when the wife would light, it would be much easier. So of course, this is perfect example, biblical example. When he lights and extinguish, I mean, we're talking about extinguish. That's what we care. And this melacha is for constructive purpose. On the other hand, yeah, go ahead.
Rabbi, let's say I extinguish. Do we really say that from a candle? Let's say I wanted the charcoal from a candle, right?
But you want the charcoal wick, so it would be light easier next time. That's positive, constructive purpose.
Okay, got it.
On the other hand, if the extinguished candle, because he no longer desires the light, so he cannot sleep, right? He has violated only rabbinic law. So his big difference makes that his intention. Why exactly he's doing that? So can no longer see the light. He has violated rabbinic law, since his purpose was simply to rectify the undesirable situation. Right. Okay. So I mean that's why it's rabbinical. He did not want the light. Both acts are identical in that both produce a charred wick. The difference between them lies solely in the intention of the transgressor. Okay. So I mean the end result is the same, but the difference between them lies solely in the intention of the transgressor. So in one case, it was just he did not want the light, and in another case it was he wanted the charred wick. Since this act has the potential to be biblical transgression, it is a greater severity than the ordinary rabbinic transgression. That's the explanation. However, there are cases of extinguishment that do not possess the greater stringency. For example, an act of extinguishing gas flame by turning off the gas intrinsically different than a big. I'm sorry. One more time. For example, the act of extinguishing a gas flame by turning off the gas is intrinsically different than a biblically forbidden act of extinguishment. So meaning that the gas flame, nothing is burning, right, except gas. So it's no physical object is technically burning, right? So if you turn off, it would not be no charcoal. Since the gas flame have no charred wick, okay, or fuel behind. I mean, fuel is a gas, but there is no difference, right? Its extinguishing cannot ever provide the positive benefit. It is inherently a rabbinic transgression, and therefore is no greater severity than other rabbinic transgressions. So what the author is saying, it's a big difference between extinguishing the gas flame and extinguishing a candle, because in candle, if he has a agenda, right, and if he has intention to make a charred wick, that's biblical. So this and if he just extinguished because he does not need light, or this light bothers him, it would be rabbinical, right? But very close to biblical. So the only difference is his intention. The action is exactly the same. But here, if it's a gas flame, there is nothing no positive result. Meaning it would never be biblical. So that's why it's not as severe. I think it's the first time that we have this like degree of difference, even in rabbinical, of course. Okay, part number 5. Activities included in Melach of extinguishing. The following activities violate the Melach of Mechaber. A, extinguishing a fire, so any fire. B, decrease in size of a fire. Okay. C, removing fuel from a fire. Yeah.
I understand with the other, let's say, malachas. Right away when you do them, you get a benefit off of them for the most part, right? Okay. So, okay. So over here, if I use the if I don't, if I have kavanah to make it charcoal, but I don't use the charcoal until after Shabbos, do I still get an avera?
Yes, it doesn't matter. The action is done. So if you have intention to do it, the action is done.
Got it.
But if you did not have intention, so there is, I mean, it would be just rabbinical.
Mm-hmm. So if I didn't have the intention, but I thought, you know, it was just too light or something like that, too much fire, whatever it was. And then after Shabbos, I'm like, hey, I have extra charcoal now. I'm allowed to use it at least?
Yes. But sorry, it would be in this case, the example that you discussed, it would be rabbinical prohibition. But it was not your intention to make the child weak. It's not. It's a just byproduct of whatever you did. Understand? Okay. So okay. So we're going according to this list. Extinguishing a fire. A. Any and all methods of extinguishing violate the Shabbos prohibition. These include any all methods. Number 1, extinguishing fire by pouring liquid upon it. Number 2, extinguishing a fire by blowing it out. This refers not only to the case in which a person blows out a fire by mouth, but to any case in which a person extinguishes the fire by directing a current of air into it. Okay. Usually the air helps the fire. I don't know. One example would be the opening the door swiftly next to the lit candle. That's a good example. Another would be to open window near the burning candles, which where the wind will extinguish the flames. So also practical applications, which is makes sense. And the Shulchan Aruch said that do not light the Shabbos candle next to the door. Right. So when they open the door, the draft would extinguish the candles. So it's like walking, I think, to the sensors, right? So you for sure you know that it's going to extinguish. Number 3, smoothing a fire by placing something over it. So you just cover. You put some inverted vessel, like a pot, and it's because there is no air, it's going to die out. Okay. So those are extinguishing fire. B, decreasing the size of the fire. Even if one does not extinguish the fire completely, but merely decreases its size, he has transgressed the melach of extinguishment. Accordingly, one may not tilt a lit oil lamp on Shabbos, for by doing so, one causes some of the oil to be removed from the wick, thereby decreasing the size of the flame. Therefore, one carrying a table with a lit oil lamp upon it must be careful not to carry it too quickly, lest the candle oil moved away from the wick. I mean, it's a little far-fetched case, but anyway, it's very, I think, practical. So you have this oil candle, you have a wick, of course, and when you start moving, when you moving the table, let's say it's small table, and you don't need it any longer in this room, you want to take it somewhere else. Let's say it's not muktzah, it's not bosses, it's not base for the muktzah, and you're allowed to move it. So be careful when you're moving it because the oil, they say if it's going out and next to the wick. So for a split second, it could be like a little extinguishment. Okay, that's the case. Okay, C, removing fuel from the fire. One who removes fuel from the fire causes the fire to go out more quickly. This is a violation of the melacha of extinguishment. According, one may not remove oil from the lit oil lamp, or cut the part of the candle on Shabbos. I'm not sure how it works. So basically, he lit the candle, cut it a little from the bottom, and put it back. So of course, it will go faster. Okay, so all of this not allowed. Okay, continue. Number 6. Cases in which one is permitted to extinguish fire on Shabbos. So exceptions. A, where the fire endangers human life. If there is even the remotest possibility that a particular fire poses a threat to human life, one may extinguish it himself on Shabbos. Likewise, one may telephone the fire department to come and extinguish. If house catches a fire and there is no danger of human life, one may not extinguish the fire himself, nor may one explicitly instruct a non-Jew to extinguish it. So commentary. There are many halachas taught concerning what items person may remove from burning house on Shabbos. Okay, so continue and we're going to explain. However, since a fire in a house almost always constitute a danger to human life, one is generally permitted to extinguish it. Therefore, we have not elaborated on these halachas. See, however, below for the procedure to follow when a tablecloth catches fire. Okay, so we're going to learn about tablecloth. So let's stop here. So let's try to understand. So you are if the house catches a fire. So if there are dangers to human life, for example, you have children, small children upstairs, and wife, and she's pregnant, stuff like that. So you're allowed to, or you have elderly person, let's say somebody like your mother, your father, someone with an oxygen tank. So of course you're allowed to put off the fire. But otherwise, if it's everybody is young and strong and everybody is not sleeping, basically, let's say it's during the Shabbos meal. So basically, in this case, you would not be allowed to extinguish the fire because there is no danger to human life. Just walk out. There is no danger. So the only thing is what you're allowed to take out. So, for example, clothes, right? Holy books and stuff like that. Yeah, go ahead, Israel. Yeah.
Yes, with this I have a question. So let's suppose house is on fire. You're not allowed to extinguish the fire on Shabbos. You must get out only.
No, if you can't get out, yes. But if you cannot, for example, there are small children, they're sleeping. You understand? It's not enough time.
At least let's suppose it's plain daylight and no threat to threat to anybody. So you just run away and let the house consumed by the fire.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be Torah prohibition or a rabbinical prohibition if you try to extinguish the fire in the house.
No, it would be rabbinic prohibition. Rabbinic prohibition, because biblical prohibition, as we said before, it's to produce a charcoal, right? So it's for positive result. So here there's no positive result. You just don't want this fire. So it would be always a rabbinic prohibition. You understand? So I mean, it's easier said than done, but basically it's a person must walk away unless, as we said, there's a life danger. He must walk away from burning house, and he's not allowed to tell his non-Jewish friends to call the fire department. So he can say, "Look, Steve, my house is in a fire, so my apartment is a fire. So okay, should I call? I don't know. But it's in a fire. So basically, you cannot instruct him what to do. but you tell him, but you're allowed to tell him what's going on. There is no problem.
So what if the fire is very silly? It's something, a candle was turned down, and the fire is just starting. Are you allowed to pick up the extinguisher and put the fire off?
No, for example, I give you this example. So you try to get out, and fire is blocking your way, so you cannot go through the fire, right? By the door, you have one exit, and the fire is there, so you cannot escape. So in this case, of course, you're allowed to put off the fire. Absolutely.
But if it is a candle and the fire is very, very small, and it will take several minutes until it becomes a bigger fire, are you allowed to pick the extinguisher?
No, you have to get out. So if you can escape, that's what you must do.
Okay.
Don't touch it. And as I said, it's not such easy thing to do. If it's a small fire, and you can easily put it off, and but by the time the fire department comes, it would be just a charcoal without any constructive purpose. You understand? So it's but that's what we have to do. Yeah, go ahead.
So let's say someone asks me if I need them to call 911, right? Okay. And I say, I need you to call 911, right? I didn't say go call 911. I just said my state of mind. I need you to call 911. I didn't tell you to do anything. It's just what I need. Allowed?
No. You cannot. No, you just say that I have a fire going in my house. Should so the guy is your neighbor is asking you, right? Should we call the fire department? I said I don't know if anybody called. I don't know. I didn't call. I didn't call fire department. So in all of these cases, they look at you as you crazy, but that doesn't matter. They can look at you whatever they want.
So let's say I was sitting and I knew someone knows I keep Shabbos, and I said I need water, and so he opens the bottle for me. That's not allowed.
But that person is not a Jew, or
Not a Jew. I need water. He knows what I'm saying. I need water, but
okay. So he opens the bottle of water. I mean, after the fact, maybe it's not a problem, because the poskim say there is no problem to open the bottle of water to begin with. But usually, I mean, I think Sephardim rely on that opinion. Rabbi said that, but Ashkenazim do not rely on that opinion. But there is still like minority. I mean, few that say there is no problem, basically, because all of these water bottles, they're disposable, but not always. And the cup is basically a separate utensil that you create, right? The cup was initially it was what is it? The cup initially was put with a ring on top of the bottle, right? And now when we try to remove, so you create a new utensil that was not there before. You create this cup when you unscrew it. So basically, what we do, we just demolish the cup or bottle and try to remove the liquid some other way, right? But if case of the need, there is you're afraid there is like you somewhere, I don't know what are you got stuck, and then that's the only water bottle. So yeah, you're allowed to, and you cannot damage the bottle. There is no other way. So yeah, you can rely on those paskim who say there is no problem. Okay. Any other questions, or we continue? Okay. So decreasing the fire. Okay, we said removing the fuel. We said okay. Okay, so we say okay. So to save the human life, we said there is no problem, and you can extinguish the fire. Okay. How about since the fire is in okay, no, I apologize. We said that. So if it in danger of human life. B, extinguish the fire through the indirect causation. Gram. So gram is indirect. Indirect is like this walking next to the this light sensor is indirect. right? So is from our examples before, because I don't do anything physical. So let's see. As general rule, melacha performed through the indirect causation, grammar, is prohibited by rabbinic law. Okay, it's prohibited. In some instances, however, it is permitted. One such instance given in the Mishnah in Tractate Shabbos 128, which states that if, in the case of the need, for example, monetary loss, one second, is permitted to cause the extinguishing of the fire by placing barrel filled with water in the fire's path. Fire's path. Even if the fire reaches the barrel, they catch the fire and burst open, whereupon their content extinguishes the fire. Because the extinguishing is only an indirect consequence of the person's actions, it is permitted. So let's finish, and I'm going to explain. This ruling has many practical ramifications. For instance, if the tablecloth catches a fire while posing no danger to human life, one will cause a person to suffer monetary loss. He is permitted to extinguish fire by indirect manner. See practical application for further discussion. Okay, so didn't say. Okay, so basically, as we said before, so this grammar, meaning indirect, this working by the sensor light, is not allowed. You didn't touch. We agree with you, yeah. But in this case, since it was specifically allowed in a Talmud, right, in the Mishnah, so that's I would say it's some kind of exception. So what did they do? They say, okay, there is a fire. Fire is coming your way. So next to the fire, put a bucket. I say plastic bucket, whatever, like a garbage pail, right? You took out the garbage. You put it full of water. You put it next to the fire, so the fire comes in, start melting the plastic, and then it bursts open, and the water comes from this garbage pail, right? And it's going to extinguish, let's say, all of the fire. Let's say it was only in that area. So that would be indirect, in a sense it was specifically, explicitly allowed by our sages, so there is no problem. And it's very practical example. Or for example, you can pour water around the fire, not on the fire, but around the fire. So same with this tablecloth on a table on a fire, you're not allowed, but around the tablecloth when the fire did not come, so you're allowed to pour water as much as you want, and once the fire comes to that piece, so it's going to stop with HaShem. Go ahead.
So you can put humidity on a house that is going on fire and to prevent the fire advancing?
Exactly. This you can do, yes.
And it wouldn't be a melacha to pour water? It's not a melacha to pour water on something?
The melacha of pouring water, it would be if it would go on the grass. Yes, it would be a melacha. But let's take this example inside of the house, right? So first of all, you can put in this utensil, or second, you can put, let's say, you can wet towels, like very wet towels, and put it around this fire. So once it comes to the towels, it's going to get extinguished, let's say.
So in the example of the candle, I read that there are candles that burn for 24 hours almost. What if that candle turned to the side, fell on the table, and you put something, you pour water on the table, and that prevents the start of this fire to go on? If that is allowed?
Yeah. Okay. So let me before I answer this question, let me explain you about this 24-hour candle. Right. That's what we use when your side on holidays. What that's we light 24-hour candle, 48-hour candles. Usually that's what we do on the holidays, right? But these candles, so they in this glass container, and it's a fireproof glass. It's never, ever, ever in many, many years, and I never heard from anybody that this glass actually cracked. But just in case, to be on the safe side, nobody would put this candle, even though it's this nice glass, on the by itself on the table. So they put something underneath, like fireproof. You understand? So that's where we have this glass like thing, like glass plate. Let's call it. So we put a glass plate, which is fireproof, and on top we put candle, which is in a glass-proof container. So the chances that something happens is very, very small. Never happened.
Is that halacha to put those series of protection, or you can light the candle anyway?
No, but it's a practical. I mean, you see, the way I answer just practically, right? So these candles that burn for so many hours, it gets hot. The glass is very hot. So it can spoil simply your table. You understand? From the heat, not from the fire. So you put something underneath. So, but if you have this dish or whatever separate, so it's like you're not going to damage your table. Make sense? I mean, practically. I mean, it's okay.
So I have another question, but it's not so related because I can't understand yet why it's not allowed to increase or decrease the regulator of a stove.
Decrease or increase, or increase, we're not allowed to light fire. So when you increase the fire, let's say you have a stove and gas stove burning, when you increase, you ignite the fire. That's not allowed. So ignite meaning from zero, it was no fire, and you make it fire. That's ignition. Or you make it bigger, so it's also ignition.
So the example was that the day that I was on Shabbat and I had the lid to heat water, and the water was taking so long, and I was thinking, what if I increase the fire of the stove? That would be forbidden.
Yes, it is 100% forbidden. Another reason why is it forbidden, because HaShem, when we finish this book, we're going to start Shabbos kitchen, and it is not allowed to cook on Shabbos. So, and one of the ways to cook on Shabbos, right? Even I mean, can cook in general. So you increase the fire. That's how you cook. So that's another reason why it's not. It's ignition, of course, but practically because that's how you cook. Exactly in your case. So you want something to cook faster, you increase the fire. Make sense? Okay, so actually, you know what? We can stop here. And next topic is electric lights and electrical appliances. Of course. So any questions? Go ahead. You can ask questions. Any topic now? Yeah, go ahead. Israel, go ahead.
Okay. About the sensors that put the light on or off on the street, on the sidewalk. This sensor works with detecting the intensity
Motion.
of the sun. It's allowed or it's not allowed to put that?
What was it? They detected the sun during the day, or the motion detector when you're moving past it?
No. It's according to the intensity of the sun. If there is no sun, the relay activates and turn the light on. But this an
So this light on the whole night when it's dark?
Yes, upon the sunset, the system
Okay, so
activates.
there is no problem. I mean, you did not do anything to cause the slide to go on, right?
But allowing the sun to activate this system
No,
is
no, but
unlawful.
it has nothing to do with you. It's indirect. Zero to have with you. It's same as we have. You're even allowed to set timer. Remember, you set timer. You want to something, I don't know, to your lights to go off, for example. So you can set up timer. I actually have. I'm looking at the timer now. I bought myself new timers. So I'm going to show how the timers looks like. So okay, so here's a timer. You see, so it has all of the settings. It's a simple timer. You plug it into the outlet. You have two outlets on a side, and that's it. You can, like, I don't know how many settings, many settings you have here, many. So during the day of Shabbos, you can turn on, turn off the light as many times as you want. For example, you finish, you want to put it in your living room, right? In your room where you have dinner. And after you finish dinner, let's say, 10 p.m. you're done. That's it. You don't need light. So you can set it up, 10 p.m., turn off. Next morning, so you don't need this light during the night, let's say, but you need for your Shabbos, like for davening, let's say. So 9 a.m. it's going to turn on, and whenever you don't need, after you finish eating, 12 p.m. it can go off, and then at night it can go on. You understand?
So
That's amazing thing.
Taking into account this concept, also it will be allowed to use application on the phones that sets manim. It would be allowed.
But
That sound an alarm, and when you have
alarm, yes, because you do the settings before Shabbos, right? On Friday or Thursday, or my alarm I set up once a year, maybe not even. I set it up and that's it, and it works.
For example, you set a series of reminders. You program before Shabbos, yes. A series of reminders about davening or when Shabbos ends, or Shabbos start, and there is no problem with that.
There is no problem, but I mean, if you do not touch the cell phone. So if I mean,
yes, you leave it there. You leave not touch the.
No, you see, I see. I'm going to tell you about my cell phone. So if a reminder is going on, right, the screen is going to light up for exactly maybe 3 seconds, 5 seconds, stops, and then the screen would go off. That's it. So if I was not there in those 3 seconds, so I have no idea what was the reminder about. So in my specific case, it's useless. So that's what I'm trying to say. So I think it's better to just write on a piece of paper what time the Shabbos ends. Like that's it. That would not take you such a long time.
But if, for example, if you set a reminder about when Shabbos is coming to end that day, what about the sound, the alarm, the reminder? Are you allowed to let that thing sound and make noise?
Okay, so why I want to explain the question that Israel is trying to ask. One of the prohibitions that we have on Shabbos, we're not allowed to make noise. So we're not allowed to play music, not allowed to play musical instruments and stuff like that. And all different noise. But since it is known that it is alarm, so they don't make it as a musical. So it's like may make some I don't know, sound like everybody knows that it is an alarm clock. You understand? Some annoying noise, right? So in this case, there is no problem. But make it music, it would be suspicious. It's a problem. So since why we don't make noise on Shabbos? That's a good question. But alarm, I mean, you need to get up. It's for the purpose of the mitzvah. It's not like you enjoy that music. So me personally, I have a rooster going. That's very annoying. Okay. Any other questions? All right, so let's stop here then. So until tomorrow, same time, 8:30 p.m. Thank you very much and good night. Take care.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.